All right, I am going to get started. I know people will be joining while we're in progress, but there's a lot of content to get through. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Rob Schafer, Product Management Director for Field Service Management at ServiceNow. We just went live with the Vancouver release of Field Service Management, of everything in ServiceNow, which is really exciting. And there's a lot I'm really excited to share with you today. So for today, of course, we have our safe harbor notice for any of our forward-looking statements. I'm presenting about things that have gone live in this current release, but maybe based on some questions, there may arise some forward-looking statements. So I'm placing this safe harbor statement there as well. This is part of our Live on ServiceNow series of webinars. Maybe that's how you decided to join us today, but you can take a photo of that barcode on the right, or I believe we're going to post in the chat the direct link to this as well, so that you can sign up to be notified and see what the upcoming events are as well. Few housekeeping items. We are going to try to leave some time for Q&A. So please enter your questions in the Q&A icon. We're recording this. We will follow up. We will share this on the ServiceNow community as well as my slides. And then after the session is over, we're going to have a survey that goes out to you. Please, 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 please fill those out. We want to know what you thought, what you'd like to see, was there a disconnect with what our messaging was and what you were looking to get out of it? You didn't like the presenter, any of it. All that feedback's important. Hopefully that last one doesn't come up, however. All right, so I'm going to get started with what's new in our Vancouver release as well as our Q3 23 store release. We are placing these in 3 buckets: 1, work scheduling and planning; the 2nd, job execution; and 3rd, resource management. So you can see that there are a number of capabilities, but I want to get right into them. So we're going to start with work scheduling and planning. The first is intraday optimization, and this is related to our schedule optimization capabilities. It allows an organization to run optimization, intraday optimization throughout the day as frequently as every 15 minutes. So as new work comes in, as a job that's supposed to be an hour long stretches into 2.5 hours, we can run optimization to make sure that those schedules maintain their efficiency. Not only that, but we also notify the dispatcher that this particular group is undergoing optimization. So maybe this optimization process is running right now for the next few minutes, so don't make any manual adjustments. But the focus is on maintaining a highly efficient and optimized schedule throughout the day. So I'm going to show you a quick demonstration of that as well.
Today we'll talk about the schedule optimization indicator on Dispatcher Workspace. Whenever there are certain events such as an agent is on PTO, or there's a cancel task, or agent is running late, or even there's a high priority task, you can kick in the intraday schedule optimization job. When the schedule optimization job is run from the backend, and you can set the interval for how long you want to run the job for, or what frequency rather, you would have the schedule optimization indicator shown on the Dispatcher Workspace. This is a demo of schedule optimization indicator on Dispatcher Workspace. To demo this particular functionality, I've impersonated myself as Alicia China, who's an agent. And one of the triggers for triggering the intraday schedule optimization is to create a time off event. So I would create a time off event for the day for today. The name is PTO. The type is time off for the entire day. And I'll say this event. And once you have this event created, you have a manual job or job that runs the backend, which runs every 15 minutes. You can configure the number of minutes that you want to for the intervals.
But for this scenario, I would go ahead and have this job triggered manually. For that, I have to impersonate myself as an administrator. And I go to Flow Designer, and this is a job called Schedule Intraday Jobs, and I run this particular job. Once I run the particular job, now I log in the dispatcher workspace as Lizare, and I would see the optimization indicator. So this indicates that the job is being run at the backend, and you would have the data being populated after the job is run. Thank you.
All right. The next capability is within Dispatcher Workspace. We've exposed a new contextual side panel, and that allows us to minimize clicks, provide visibility to key data, and I can expand or collapse that as necessary. But it's contextual in that depending upon what you select, what type of records you select, different data. So I've selected a task, I click on the task and it will show the task in the right panel or the technician in the time panel. Not only does it do that, but it gives me visibility into things like their current schedule, their phone, their email, the metrics that they've achieved, and allow me to take action on that data. The next is group metrics. So similarly, I mentioned on that contextual side panel, being able to see the metrics, the performance for that technician, but you can also see it at the group level. So here's my NorCal technicians, and across that entire assignment group, I can see their performance. Same with the Sunnyvale technicians. So let's zoom in on that. Here I can see Alex's metrics that have been exposed, as well as that assignment group's metrics. And we're going to take a look at all these features combined in a short video in a moment. The next is some mapping capability. So we have improved how the workspace maps are rendered. And so here we have visibility. I've selected an individual technician and shown their route so I can see where they started, the path that they're going. The arrow shows directionality, their next stop, their directionality, etc. And then I can take action on that, right? I don't have to toggle to other screens. I have the ability to view that map and expose additional options. Maybe I want to see other agents or crews or assets or tasks on that as well, so I can expose other options. You may also notice that contextual side panel is available even when you're in a hybrid or a full map view as well. So let's take a look at this in practice.
Hello, today we'll talk about the dispatcher workspace usability improvements in Vancouver. One of the changes that I brought about is the contextual side panel. So contextual side panel supports the dispatcher to visualize work schedules, agent details, to show related tasks, and also some other requirements that are such as skills and other aspects that you need. So CSP is also one of the ways that we're migrating from popover. So if I click on the work order task info and I can see the details of the work order task, I can see more the location, the schedule start, and the skills required. And I click on related, I can see all the sibling tasks that are related to the particular work order task. And now if I click on the agent info, I can see more details about Alicia Chinoy, her location, her skills, and the metrics, and you can configure some more values into it. And we also have a capability to show contextual side panel from the map. So I'll switch to hybrid view so we have more context. So in this case, this is I'm showing route for Terry Taylor. And I click on Terry Taylor, I click on this particular location, I can see what are the tasks for that particular location. And I also have a capability to take overflow actions such as open a record, go to an assignment window, or assign. And the next capability that we have brought about is the toolbar. The toolbar is is a particular location where we want to place in all the frequently used global actions, such as one of the actions that we brought about is collapse task panel. So if you collapse the task panel, you would have all the tasks panel collapse, and this is only a resource only view where you could just focus on resources, and if you want to reassign tasks between resources, drag and drop, or focus just on the task on a resource view. And then you also have the capability to choose the groups from the global level. So this enables you to filter down to your groups that you want to work for that day or for your time period. And this, I've selected 3 different groups. So once I select these groups and once I check out, you will have those values reflected. And then this is the hybrid view that you have, where you can see what kind of view that you want to, the map view that you want to see. And we also have the capability to filter down on the agents or tasks. So in this example, if I want to only see tasks or only agents, I can probably filter on, remove the task channel panel, and I can see the agents that are there in this 2 locations. And the next capability that I want to talk about is the metrics. So we have brought about metrics. Metrics gives more context on from a data level on to see what exactly is happening on the field and gives more powerful insights. So from out of the box, we're shipping 5 different metrics. One is the number of tasks, and you have metrics both on group level as well as on the agent level. So over here we have the metrics that are being displayed as the number of tasks, the work duration for that group for that day, the travel time, the utilization. Utilization is travel plus work time by shift time, and also productivity. And you also have this on the agent level. So if you click on Alex Ray's info icon, you will see the number of tasks that is there and the utilization and the productivity value for Alex Ray.
All right. Now, if there are any features that you see while I'm giving the presentation that you particularly like, see value out of, please chime in, put that in the Q&A comments as well. The next is dynamic task bundling. And in previous release, we supported the ability to bundle tasks. Maybe there are 3 tasks at the same location. Do I want to send out 3 separate resources on 3 separate days? Maybe I want to bundle them all together and reduce the amount of time, reduce the travel, combine them all into one master job. So now we're supporting, instead of the ability for you to manually create those bundles, now we allow you to define the rules to say, under these conditions, automatically bundle and schedule this type of work. So you may also notice the ability, there's now a checkbox next to tasks. So you can select multiple tasks and take action, maybe auto assign, or maybe you want to invoke a bundle on that, or you want to open all 3 of those records, or however many of those records that you would like. So let's take a look. To set up bundling, we need to define our policies, our rules, and our schedules as found in Dynamic Bundle Administration. Well, there are many further details to show they wouldn't fit into a 3-minute demo, so this is pretty high level. First, let's look at the default policy. Within the policy, we can define the minimum and maximum number of records to be bundled. We could also define the maximum duration for each bundle that gets created. Underneath, we've created a series of rules. We've delivered these rules. The most obvious one is for tasks at the same location. But consider tasks in the same territory, or those that require a specific piece of equipment, like a lift truck or a drone. Let's drill in on the rule for tasks that are at the same location within the next 30 days so that we can see the conditions that have been defined. Here we can see the grouping conditions that have been created that are specific to this one rule. You can get very granular in those conditions. Next, we need to define the schedule for the frequency to execute and create bundles. What is the recurring intervals for this? Are we running it daily, hourly, etc.?
Finally, you can define qualifiers, including assignment groups and territories against which we run the policy. Now, when I click Bundle Now, all the rules will be executed, and if we've created a schedule, bundling will be executed in the background. However, when I click Bundle Now, I can see a log of what was actually executed. Here I can see the bundles that have been created. This first bundle was created with 8 tasks, while another bundle below has been created containing 10 tasks. That's what happens when the bundle's scheduled or when we click Bundle Now. However, we can also invoke dynamic bundling when we select Auto Assign to apply active and eligible bundling rules. And here we can see the result in real time.
All right, so similar to the dynamic creation and scheduling of bundles, we have the dynamic creation of crews and the dynamic scheduling of that crew-related work. So in previous releases, we supported crews, and you would have to hunt around to find the right resources to make up that crew, not just the people, but sometimes equipment as well. And of course, you can still do that manually, but for many organizations, it's really painful to navigate and find who's got the right skills, the right parts, the availability to map out all the needs of that crew makeup. So we want to reduce that effort. We want to create that crew dynamically. So let's take a look.
Creating ad hoc crews is a painful, error-prone, and time-consuming process. Here we have 3 crew tasks. Let's select the first one to review the old way. We can review the resource requirements for this crew task. We need a supervisor, a forklift operator, and an HVAC technician. See how the dispatcher manually creates the crew. He spends his time searching for, identifying the agents and equipment to create the crew. First, we select the crew leader, and then we find and add the appropriate members that have the right skills. Our forklift operator and our HVAC technician. And lastly, we add the necessary available equipment. And here you can see the resulting crew assignments. That's the old process as of Utah, but we've significantly enhanced the process. Now in Vancouver, we've completely automated the crew creation process itself, allowing dispatchers to focus on other critical activities. Let's look at this next task and the resources that are required. Similar to before, a supervisor, forklift operator, and an HVAC technician. Let's change the date to Monday so you can better see what's happening. With the Vancouver release, I can select Auto Assign from the task, and a new crew is created for the task. And upon confirmation, the results are updated on the dispatcher workspace. And further, drilling into the record that's assigned shows the expected updated data, the actual assignments for this task. So, one last time, we can do it again, this time for simply a crew with no equipment requirements. In fact, the only requirements are for 2 warm bodies, no special skills needed. Again, we select Auto Assign and see the results reflected on the dispatcher workspace. And that's how we support dynamic scheduling of crews in the Vancouver release.
Excellent. So that was part of the scheduling and operations capabilities. Hopefully you saw some value in those. You're excited by those as well. Next, I want to talk about job execution, how we support the technicians in the field, how we continue to reduce the administrative burden on those resources. The first thing I want to talk about ties into what we just saw with dynamic crew creation. We've enhanced the ability to support our crews in the field. That gives crew leaders the ability to add and adjust resources. Maybe Fred was assigned as part of this crew, and this job is 3 hours long, but after the first hour, we decided we don't need Fred and his skills anymore. So we're going to release him. So now he goes out and he's available to be assigned to another piece of work or pull jobs from his schedule forward. Similarly, we can add or remove equipment that is required for that work as well. Let's see what we've done here.
Quick demo of the mobile crew leader flows coming in Vancouver. I've logged in as Bremer Fred, who is a crew leader. Going to My Crews, Bremer Fred can view the various crews that he's a part of. Going inside the installation crew, he can view the members, the equipment, and the tasks that have been assigned to those installation crew. From the members, Bremer Fred knows that Desmond Paul will no longer be available, so he can mark him as inactive. And add Chris Martin to the crew. You can also add additional equipment by scanning the equipment identifier for the bucket truck. Going to the task, Bremer Fred notices that antenna installation task has been assigned. Going to the related section for resource requirements, you can view that there's a resource requirement for 3 antenna installers and 2 have been assigned so far. So he'd like to add 1 more. Adding Talpatrick to help out. And for the other requirement, which is a bucket truck, we already have the bucket truck assigned. With all the requirements met, accepting the task, start work, and during the course of the task, Bremer Fred now can release any resources that are no longer needed during the task. So Bremer Fred will release Patrick Tull, and the actual work end will be captured accurately. This completes the demonstration. Thank you.
All right. The next is mobile part swap. Consider a scenario where we're addressing an issue on a server and we need to swap out a component on that server, right? By swapping it out of the box previously, you would need 2 transactions, one to remove part and then another transaction to replace that part or put a part in its place. But we weren't doing anything to maintain the integrity, the relationship that this transaction, the removal transaction tied to the replacement transaction. So we're making this easier as of the Vancouver release to, in one transaction, do both the removal and the addition of that new part. We also automatically move the used or the defective removed part into a defective status into the technician's inventory.
We'll do a quick demo of the mobile part swap flow coming in Vancouver. I've logged in as LXRay, and LXRay has been assigned a task to replace a medical ventilator. Once it's accepted, start work. And LXY can now report the part swap. In the parts to be swapped, LXY can see the medical ventilator as well as the power adapter that can be swapped. He selects the medical ventilator. By default, the part status of the removed ventilator will be defective and can be changed to available if it is a good part. The drop-off stockroom is also defaulted based on the preferred stockroom setup. And LXY can specify the part that has been replaced. We'll now try to replace the power adapter using the scan flow. Review and submit. The parts used lists have been updated, as well as the parts removed lists have been updated. Going to the inventory LP, going to parts drop-off, LXY can view all the parts that have been removed and have to be dropped off to the drop-off stockroom. This completes the demo.
So not only did we streamline the manner in which that transaction, that swap transaction occurs, but it automatically updates the PUDO, the pickup drop-off list with those defective components. So making sure that we are driving inventory compliance and integrity. The next is a really big deal. Playbooks have been available on the platform and even in field service management for a while now. However, field service management is the first to update and expose playbook capabilities on the mobile. So think of that playbook as a way to guide your technicians through processes. And if we can do that, that means maybe I can deploy new technicians, newly onboarded technicians to the field that much faster and give them more confidence in the field because we're guiding them through that process. So you can take the playbooks that you've built and you can make them available to the mobile. But beyond that, we've delivered an out-of-the-box playbook for work order task debrief.
Playbooks can guide technicians through the debrief process. They can access mobile playbooks directly within the agent app by selecting a work order task. The playbooks can be launched within a task that's already work in progress by clicking the ellipsis in the upper right-hand corner. Or from My Tasks, you'll see Launch Playbooks as an option if the task is already work in progress. Here we can see all the sections of the playbook. We can see that none of these items is complete, so we select Troubleshoot to access the knowledge base for the task. We can either browse knowledge, mark the task as complete, or skip it altogether. Let's select Browse the knowledge base. As you might expect, we can see relevant knowledge articles and mark them as useful or comment on them. And when done, we can mark this step of the playbook as complete, which brings us directly to the next stage to focus on part requirements. If none are needed, we simply skip. But let's create a new part requirement. And upon submission, the request appears in the list. When ready, we can start consuming parts from our own trunk stock / personal inventory. Note that we have the options to scan one or more parts to document the transaction, or we can simply swipe to consume. We mark as complete, and then may wish to similarly remove parts. We can also document the time worked. And upon completion or submission of that, we may record expenses or incidentals that are related to the task. At this time, we're ready to close the work order task. Note that even after the task has been closed, we can see the details via the playbook. And upon viewing mobile playbook capabilities, our customers have commented on how this enhances their ability to deploy technicians to the field more quickly, to guide users through debrief, and enforce compliance to deliver a consistent service process and improve data integrity. Note that this is the playbook that we're including out of the box for a customer who may have FSM Professional. And those customers can design and deploy their own custom playbooks to meet any specialized field service workflows.
So think on this. While we're delivering one out of the box for standard debrief, and you might tweak that to support your own process, what if you have custom scenarios for a new product launch? We need to make sure everyone's conforming to the same installation process. Or what if we have a product recall? We might want to make a playbook specific to that type of work to document conformance and compliance to the steps related to that recall. So you may have different playbooks based on the different types of work that are being performed. Hopefully you see great value in this. Hopefully at least one of you puts in the Q&A while this is a really important game-changing capability. Hint, hint, please, someone. All right. The next is the Contractor app. The Contractor Mobile App came out a year ago, but we've continued to enhance it. Supports all the offline capabilities. But what we did was we exposed inventory capabilities for our contractors now as well, and we exposed the questionnaire capability. A lot of times when you hand work over to a contractor, that's a degree of separation and you've lost some level of control. However, by giving them visibility and access to document inventory transactions, to request part requests, to perform part requests, to document your safety checklists and questionnaires, now you're maintaining a little bit more of that control over the process, over the relationship, over the quality of that service. So I want to show you what we've done. For contractors, we continue to enhance the contractor mobile experience on the Agent app. First, we allow them to search by different criteria. I can search for the description to locate the work order I'm looking for. And with the results, I can open the task and I can start my work. A big enhancement for contractor mobile processes provides contractor technicians with access to their own inventory, trunk stock, and warehouses. They have the ability to manage parts against a work order from the mobile app. They can document part removal, part consumption, and can add part requirements. They now have access to pickup and drop-off lists and can even execute part transfers. Once I complete a part transfer, you can see my inventory count has been updated. I can see both my available stock as well as defective stock. And I can add my defective stock to my drop-off lists, selecting the appropriate stockroom. From my work order, I can now continue to manage parts and create any necessary part requirements. And now that my part transactions have been completed, I may need to document some of the debrief via a questionnaire. Like much of our functionality, questionnaires are available offline as well. So you can see we've added significant functionality to enhance the contractor mobile experience with the ability to search for data, to update and manage inventory processes, and support questionnaire functionality. All right, hopefully that's a wow for you. To me, being able to maintain more control over our contractors is a really big deal and something our customers have specifically asked. The next area is resource management. And with resource management, I want to talk about some of the enhancements when it comes to our territory planning capabilities. So just as within Dispatcher Workspace, we've exposed that contextual side panel, we've done the same thing within our territory planning workspace. But beyond that, we've exposed dashboards, KPIs, and heat maps, right? So we are giving visibility to greater data, giving visibility into density of different types of records, like maybe assets or work orders, being able to compare different teams and view their KPIs and service performance across the territories as well.
Here, I've logged in as Frodo Parker, a territory planner who wants to analyze the trends within the San Diego territory and then take necessary resourcing decisions. So the user navigates to San Diego territory and then clicks on the territory boundary, which opens the contextual right panel that allows users to view territory summary and related information such as agent and crew data. If you look at the KPIs, you can even notice the trends such that number of open work order tasks is an upward trend. Now, in order to select what details and KPIs you see, you can go to the gear icon in settings and then select what KPIs or details you want to display. Specific to KPIs, you can even select the range of date during which the information will show up. We have also modified the way users can display the overlay data on the map. User can use the layers drop down to select a particular overlay that he wants to impose on the map. For example, here if I select agents, then it starts displaying the agent data. Similarly, assets and crews are all selectable layers. In addition, we've added the capability for users to also generate heat map on the map. So for example, you can look at work order task as a heat map on the map, which displays the density of how work order tasks are located within the system. Another key change that we have made to the territory planning console is for users to have the ability to look at individual data points and co-located data in the contextual right panel. So for example, if I click on CAS, which is Christina Harper, I'm able to view Christina's details, and then I can navigate to Christina's record in workspace using this hyperlink. I can look at pin summary of a co-located icon. Here in this case, these are all the assets that are co-located at the location. Similarly, I can look at another pin which displays the list of agents and assets together that are co-located at a place. A territory planner might want to change the home location of an agent. He can easily do that using the functionality here. So for example, I want to change the home location of Reed Seed and Steve Scott. I can click on edit location and simply drag the pin to another point where I want to move the home location to, which gives me a new location, and I can press on update to save the location. One other enhancement that we have done as part of Vancouver is to bring the dashboards experience within the CSM FSM configurable workspace. One change that we have done to enhance the experience on dashboard is now you are able to not just select one territory, but you could select multiple territories together and then view their information in context of the KPIs that you're looking at. So if I press apply, I'll be seeing data for Colorado and Cupertino.
All right. The next is planned work management enhancements. So that is encompasses not just preventive maintenance, but recurring schedules. And within planned work management, we've delivered a planning calendar, which is a workspace view, which again means that you can have your contextual side panel that shows the different levels of work. It might be a schedule versus a work order. You may create a work order from a schedulable event. You may take action. Maybe you want to suppress one of the tasks. Maybe you've got some overlapping tasks. Maybe there is a quarterly event and an annual event that fall within a 30-day window. And maybe the annual event takes care of the work that's performed in the quarterly event. So they can all be done in the annual event. You may have suppression rules that either automate the suppression of the quarterly task, or you can manually make that determination as well. You also may notice the calendaring. So here I can look out at a year at a time, or there are different parameters. So you can define, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever those parameters are as well.
The planning calendar is part of the CSM FSM configurable workspace, supporting maintenance managers and their planning efforts. We start with the landing page for maintenance managers, which showcases some of the reports that guide their work, but note the new calendar planning icon. And here we can see those entities under maintenance, whether they're assets, install base items, locations, sites, patient names, and identifiers. Note the different icons. We see the record on the left has a meter icon versus the duration icon on the right. Also note that we aren't currently looking at work orders, but rather schedule occurrence records. Consider these placeholders that tell the maintenance manager that a work order should be generated here. And it's important because it provides insight into potential work far in advance without actually creating work orders. The first schedule occurrence already has a work order created for it, while the ones on the right do not. We can search for a specific asset or device or item and see its schedule occurrences. We can also view our records that are grouped by different criteria, by plan, by model, by location. First, let's look by plan, and then we'll look at the grouping by model, and then again by location. This aids in my decision making. Now I can look at the schedule occurrences or the work orders or both, but let's look specifically at work orders that have been generated for the schedule occurrences. I can see the work order detail in the contextual side panel. I can open that work order. I can view it as a schedule occurrence as well. As you might expect, we offer multiple calendaring views, daily, weekly, and 2 weeks. However, we'll offer more views in the subsequent releases. Now let's jump ahead by a few weeks, and we'll find an asset with overlapping events. This asset has two different, perhaps one is based on a monthly schedule and the other on a weekly schedule. So we might not want multiple work orders to be generated in this case, because perhaps the weekly maintenance event has work or tasks that will be completed as part of the monthly event. Of course, we can manually cancel, or we can create suppression rules to automate when to prevent the generation of a maintenance work order due to these overlapping actions. So here's a suppression rule for a maintenance plan. We're defining that if the weekly maintenance intersects with the monthly one, within a 5-day window perhaps, then we should suppress, we should cancel that weekly schedule and prevent a work order from ever being generated for that weekly work. So in case you're not following me, let's look at what happened out on the schedule. The weekly schedule occurrence shows that it's been fully suppressed. We still have a record that it was going to generate a work order, but instead it was suppressed to be fulfilled as part of the monthly schedule. And here we see the monthly occurrence is still in effect in pending state. Yes, there's much more to understand here, but one last point. At any point prior to work being completed, the maintenance manager can make changes to schedule occurrences and work orders. Here we can see how they can cancel the scheduled occurrence or work orders, they can generate work orders, and view the work orders.
All right, so that is the planning calendar as part of the planned work management release. Those are the capabilities I wanted to show you. We're going to open it up for Q&A in a moment or two, so if you have any, please add them for us. I do want to point out that most of these videos have made it to the YouTube Field Service Management playlist. There are now, I believe, 25 videos out there, including many of what we've reviewed today. So I believe we have the YouTube playlist link placed in the chat, but you could also take a picture of this barcode and it would take you directly there as well. So please, review those and give us some feedback on those as well. I do have some resource slides. They're links to places in the documentation for each of these capabilities. And then I've also put together a resource slide on, the link to the FSM YouTube playlist and our release notes and data sheets and other updated information. But I would like to thank you all for your time. Please look at the YouTube playlist. Please, look at this on the recording on the FSM community and share any questions, comments, feedback with us in the form of that survey or posts on the community. Thank you for your time. Have a great rest of your day.